Hey,
Wow.
hey,
I did not know how to use this. I was like going
how
live
did
now. I'm like, huh?
how did you not know how to use this?
I don't like using live. I've had so many different requests and I like refuse to do it just because like the whole world can see me. I was like, what
Well,
do I do? Do I just like tap? But yeah, I
I
figured it out.
I feel honored that you were willing to join us for this live, even
Thank
though
you.
it's a
Hi,
little bit
Aaron.
out of your comfort zone. Even though you're used to performing in front of tons of people, but
Right?
it's a little different in this format, right?
Yeah, the irony. It's just the World Wide Web. It creeps me out. And I know like I have to show myself, to keep my relevancy, but it's just, yeah, it's kind of, ugh, it's weird.
Well, it's mostly just friends, so it's all good. It's a good way to connect with friends, right?
Oh, we got six people.
Yeah, it'll grow over time, but well,
Hmm.
first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I know you've been busy, you've been traveling a little bit, and with all the craziness that's going on, I know everybody's going through different things at different levels, but
Yes.
so much to catch up on.
Hmm.
Obviously, what's happening right now, but for those that are watching that don't know your story, would love to just introduce yourself, and then we'd love to hear about kind of how you got started and how you wound up here. And
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah,
you have a very unique story, so I'd love to hear more about it.
yeah. I mean, I like started back in 2014 and it was just came like as a passion project.
No, 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 no. Before
But
that, like the
I'm
very beginning.
I'm from Australia, guys. I'm from Australia. I'm from Sydney, and I came to America when I was like 15 or 16, San Jose. And then I went to college out in Monterey Bay, and I just wanted to start, performing like I was when I was a kid. And I used to dance, sing, act. And then I came about DJing. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to kill the game. I don't even know what that means anymore because of this virus. But
Yeah.
I started, but before I was DJing, I was also in the industry, like being a go-go dancer.
Okay.
Shout out to Louis. He's on here. He's seen my come up.
Nice.
And so it wasn't easy. And it just came out as a dream because I love music and I dance and I needed to feel alive again from moving from Australia to the States.
Yeah. Well,
So
what was it
yeah,
like? What was it like growing up in Australia compared to
way
like
better
the
than
States?
this.
Well, currently, yes, but I
Sorry,
mean,
but
and you're obviously this last couple of weeks is an anomaly, right? But
yeah.
before that, what would you say was different, growing up in Australia versus the States?
Um, it's less populated for sure. Like, there's not freaking millions of people. And what was very different was I went to an all girls Catholic school, so it was like a Catholic all girls. It was predominantly white, so all my friends, we all wore school uniforms. Um, and they're not even that hard hit over there
Yeah.
due to this virus, but they seem to be okay. And Aussies have always had that like really chill, nonchalant. Oh, it's cool. Like we won't get affected by it. They still feel that way, and I feel like I've got that too.
Yeah.
But I think over time I started to,
I think I don't I've heard this as I've traveled, and I hope Australians aren't offended by this, but I've heard that they call it like the California of the South Pacific, basically.
yeah,
Australia,
yeah,
like that kind of the mentality. There's a lot
yeah,
of surfers. There's kind of
yeah.
that laid back mentality. I look at it
But
as a
they're
compliment.
also really stupid and crass,
Okay.
meaning they don't give a shit about what they say.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I've seen that. I went to Thailand a couple years ago and met a lot of people from Australia and Thailand. So
yeah,
I, in fact, I still keep in touch with some of those friends there. But
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember when you and I first connected, you were DJing
Yeah,
at,
I want to remember, how
I
long have
think,
we known each other?
well, I think we're friends on social media for a while, but then I want to say one of your first few gigs at Otter's Den in Marina. Shout out to the Otter's Den. I think
Came from nothing.
you were doing like college night at the Otters Den
Yeah,
or something,
yeah,
and then you started playing Bluefin because shout out to all
yeah,
the
yeah,
Monterey crew like Moses and Nito and
yeah,
July and those guys.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, you were going to CSMB. I think you were studying production, right? You were doing music production in school.
No, I lied. I was studying psychology,
Ah.
and I was going to have an emphasis in music production to intertwine music with psychology, but that's just too much work, you know? And I was like, this is already a lot of work. Psychology is a lot of work.
Well,
And
so,
so I had to,
so it must have been, yeah, 2014, 2015, maybe in that range, when you were on campus and then you were kind of doing the college nights around Monterey.
yeah.
And I could just tell right then, like, I think you were just getting started. Like, you pretty much are self-taught, right, as far as DJing.
I told myself everything.
And I think you had literally been going for maybe a couple months. And I was
Yeah.
like, dude, you have a very unique story, but you got the chops. Like, I'm a musician. I got into DJing later. I don't really consider myself a real DJ. Like, I can DJ events and DJ weddings, but I do respect
Yeah,
the
yeah.
craft, that there's an actual, like, craft to it, especially with turntablism and all the different like softwares. And then as a musician, I respect the craft. And I
Yeah.
remember because I was a musician and then I was working and managing bands, and all of a sudden DJs got really big, and
Yeah.
I was kind of frustrated because I was like, how are you going to pay one person with a laptop the same or more if you're going to pay a
Yeah.
whole band of musicians?
Yeah.
And so at first I was kind of frustrated, but then when I got into it more, I got a lot more respect. Excuse
Yeah.
me.
See?
But I remember I got a
It's
chance to
even
hear
better when
Calvin
you
Harris
have a
live in
vagina.
Vegas, and
Yeah.
it was a game changer. I was like, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but so talk about that process from just kind of doing college parties and college nights to where you're at now.
I mean, I came from nothing, and I kind of knew that I would be different and I would stand out. And I told myself, how am I going to infiltrate the Bay Area market? How am I going to do that? And I'm going to just tell it to everyone. I was a go-go dancer prior to being a DJ, and I was dancing at all the clubs, like Infusion when it was still popping.
Oh wow,
And it was,
fusion.
yeah,
Yeah.
Infusion. What Louis remembers, I think some people on here that have seen me like go-go dance. And I did like other performances for big tech companies too. It was
Okay.
just like private events.
Right.
But I didn't know how else to infiltrate the market. I just started off doing that. But I love dancing. I wanted to get back into it. Uh, and then somewhere or another, I was like, F this. I don't doesn't pay that much.
Mm.
The person that was managing the team was taking so much money out of us, which
Yeah.
was screwed. And I was like, I'm my own boss. No one tells me what to freaking do.
Right.
And so I like transitioned smoothly, and I made sure that the agency that I had worked for was not going to take any money out of me. Like,
Mm.
no, you're not going to do that. I'm going to transition out of this smoothly, effortlessly, and I'm going to freaking play at different clubs. My first SF club was the Cellar, and that I remember then there was a shooting, and I was like, or a stabbing, and I was like, all right, I don't know if I want this for my image, but I'm just going to continue chugging. And I wanted to play like some of the hottest places, and I was an opener. And I remember it was a struggle, and I had my feet, like my toes in, like I'm not gonna be like that type of industry chick where you're just gonna have me open for you. I just kept doing it and
Right.
making a name for myself, and today here I am, kind of like unemployed.
Well, I don't think this is going to last forever, but to get, I mean, kudos to you. I watched your progression from, Cal State Monterey Bay to
Yeah,
headlining to doing some of the biggest spots in the city.
I played in
And
Hollywood too.
yeah,
Yeah,
congratulations on that. I mean, that in and of itself is an accomplishment. And I
yeah,
think,
it's not easy.
you're going to come out of this stronger. And I don't mean that to be, cliche or to be patronizing at all, but just I know a lot of my musician and DJ friends. I mean,
Yeah.
I had a bunch of gigs that were, canceled or rescheduled on the wedding side of things, and it doesn't compare to the same thing that's having like a regular night at a venue. But
Yeah.
it's a crazy time for a lot of people. I
Yeah.
pivoted a few years back to working in real estate and financial side,
Yeah, I saw that.
just doing music more as a passion. But my heart goes out to everyone in the hospitality and entertainment world, because that's
Oh yeah,
probably the biggest affected industry right now, is
for
in
sure. And
hospitality.
we actually had to continue playing for these venues while the pandemic was going on. And I remember playing like at the Virgin. I'm like, I don't think I should be playing, you know, but I was also feeling sick at the time. I
Oh,
actually I don't want to say this,
yeah.
but I'm going to say it. I had it. I think I had it back in December. I was really sick.
Mm,
Like I had all the chronic symptoms and I
wow.
just kept playing. I was like, screw it. YOLO. I'm going to die one way or another doing this. But it's not a good way to think that way, you know?
Right.
Because us DJs, we get exposed to
Yeah.
so many different people trying to get song requests
Oh my
that
God.
just want to say hi.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you not know I'm sick? But no one cares, you know, people are drunk.
Well, especially back in the
So,
day, like when we first started, even before you were there as CSMB, back in like '08, my partner Chad and I, we used to throw these like college nights, and
mm-hmm.
we were one of the first people to shift to, like, as stupid as this sounds, but you know how big beer pong got in the college scene.
Yeah.
We started doing beer pong at bars, which was like a cool thing back in the day. But originally, people were pouring beer or alcohol in the cups and drinking from those, and like using the same cup
Ugh.
over. I know it sounds gross, but we were the first to, like, no, we're using water pong. If you lose, just drink your beer or take a
It's
shot.
like etiquette
Do
to
not
not
mix.
like,
Yeah, yeah. I've just
yeah.
always been kind of a germaphobe anyway. But when you really start to think about nightlife and all the different things that,
Yeah.
like, you know, even sharing microphones or,
Yeah.
I mean,
Us touching the decks, I was like, I'm not touching this shit. This looks like someone spat on this. I don't know. Someone spilled a drink. And those are the things that us DJs are not aware of. And actually, I had a few DJs come out on Facebook saying, oh, I think I had it, which, like, I don't doubt that they don't because we have so much exposure.
right.
And now we've come to this that most of us are unemployed. And luckily for me, it started hitting early. So I was like, all right, I got to prepare because I had so many gigs already. And so slowly by slowly they were cutting my days. And I was like, screw this. I'm just gonna prepare now. And I gotta prepare for the worst and hunk down. I just remember like, okay, I gotta figure out unemployment. I just
Yeah.
filed for that. And I
How did
actually
that,
also
if you don't mind sharing that from a technical perspective, how did that work? So are you 1099? Do you have your own corporation, or how
yeah.
does
Yeah, so
that?
if anyone listening, if you are a DJ or an independent contractor, and there are certain guidelines, but for unemployment especially, you just go on the unemployment website, you
Okay.
make an account, and then when you make an account they have these steps where like they ask, you know, are you a US citizen, which I'm not. I'm from
Yeah.
Australia.
How does that work for you? Are you, what
I
kind of
have a green card. I'm not on a visa. I have a
green
green
card?
card, so I'm legally here. And if you're legally here, yeah, just make sure you have all the necessary documentation, even your social security number.
Okay.
um and so unemployment is a good thing because they're doing this whole stimulus package too.
Right.
And make something online, make sure to file your taxes, or make sure that you haven't been working for the last 18 months for a company and that you've been legally an independent contractor,
Mm.
meaning you're self-employed, or like a, I don't really know what the difference is
Not
between a
a,
self-proprietorship to
so
independent
there's,
contractor.
you can be a sole proprietor. You don't necessarily have to be incorporated. You don't have to have an LLC, but a sole
Okay.
proprietor can still be 1099. So it's not so
Yeah,
much
yeah,
what your business structure is, it's more
yeah,
what your tax structure is.
yeah.
As an employee, you're usually W-2 or W-9. You
Mm-hmm.
get two. That just means you're getting a check and all your taxes are already taken out. If you're a
Yeah,
sole proprietor or a business owner, that just
yeah,
means that you have to go pay your taxes later, but you get to write
yeah.
things like gear or gas or food or whatever.
My hair, my makeup. Mind you, my mustache is growing out, guys. My eyebrows, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. This is like,
So what are some of those, speaking of that, what are some of the things, obviously hygiene and beauty, but what are some of the things that you took for granted, besides work, obviously, just some personal things that you took for granted?
working out, doing Pilates. Like, I love going to gyms,
Okay.
boxing. I love my Pilates. I love my yoga. Yeah, my eyebrows and my hair, but like all of that can kind of be eliminated by like, you know, going to Walgreens and getting like
Yeah.
strip wax and stuff. But
Yeah.
I feel sorry for the girls that have such a high upkeep on themselves. You know, I was like, how are you gonna? I'm like, just I wouldn't recommend shaving, but It's just, it's a lot, you know, when you're in the entertainment world and you have to keep up with this personality and this style you have.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard
Very,
work,
very,
guys.
very image driven, and for women,
Oh,
it's
so
probably
much.
twice as difficult because it's so
Hmm.
competitive in the age of social media and filters and all the
Yeah.
craziness. But
I
what did
use
you?
filters now to just cover the
How did
oh
you?
my God, I don't
Because
think anyone can see this.
our business and career kind of mirrored and followed along with social media. How have you? How has social media helped you grow your brand and your business?
Oh my gosh. I use social media. People, I hate it when, like, for instance, this is just something that I've like gone through. And when I date someone, they're like, "Oh, you know, you're always constantly on your phone, or you're always on social media." I have to.
Right.
This is my world. This is something that this generation has adapted to, especially when you're in an entertainment. I have to speak to people. I have to keep up with my audience. I'm actually genuine too. I'm not just
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, yeah, just show up at my gig and I'll get you in, then never talk to you again. Like
Right.
I will talk to you and I will get to know you and all of that. So
Well,
actually I
and
would say,
you're hilarious, by the way.
I
I
know I do some dumb things on
no,
here,
I know
but
some of
it's
it
like,
because you like have cabin fever right now, but the last couple things have been hilarious.
yeah, I made a TikTok. Follow me
Yeah.
on TikTok.
What
That was
were
kind of
you in Tahoe
embarrassing.
or where were you?
I was in Truckee, Tahoe.
Truckee, Tahoe. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Right by Tahoe. We were like 30 minutes away from Nevada. And
Yeah.
so it was really cool, the snow. We were stuck up there. There was one person that had like coronavirus.
Oof.
And then I had seen them get transported in an ambulance to a bigger facility. I was like, oh, wow. That's like, everyone was wearing hazmat suits. So I was like, okay, that looks like
Oh,
the
you mentioned
one.
that. Yeah, you mentioned that.
Uh-huh.
Like it's
Yeah,
getting
that was
serious, huh?
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
So,
what, I
mhm.
mean, thank God you were, obviously it's still difficult, but you were a little bit more prepared probably than the average person. What are
Oh, for
some,
sure.
what, two extremes? One, what are some stories you're hearing of DJs or artists that were like prepared and are making the most of it? And then what are the horror stories that you're hearing from venues and
Yeah.
artists?
I mean, it's funny. Some DJs just kept going and playing, and they're the ones that like kind of are like, "Oh wow, there's no more gigs for us guys. There's no more pay." And they're like, "No, we're gonna get back on our feet." Like, do you know how difficult it is for these venues to open back up and generate that money,
So they're
then
legally
make that
not allowed, at
they're not
least for a
allowed.
month or two. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it dangerous to like just, okay, yeah, I'll play. I'll, I love the money. I'm a hustler. I'll do it all day, every day, but not what I experienced. You know, after that, I was like, I don't want to. I never want to get that again. Sorry, my dad keeps trying to FaceTime me,
It's okay.
but
For
sorry,
sure.
guys.
No worries.
And yeah, so some DJs weren't prepared, and they're like, oh, you know, I need to apply for this, that. It's like you have to keep up with the trend. We're in a trendy world, so that was an upward trend too. But one thing that, what was the other question? Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, you know, what you heard of people that were prepared and are making adjustments,
Mhm.
and then of the horror stories that you've heard of from venues or from other DJs that weren't prepared.
Some venues are shutting down. Here in the Mission, from what I heard, that some are just like completely they're closing down. Like they won't be able to afford their rent. They won't be able to open up again. And these are some like some awesome food spots that people love to go to.
Yeah.
Um, and they rent. You know, the rent high, guys, here in San Francisco is
Oh my God.
so high.
Highest in the nation. Yeah.
It's so high. And I heard this from a really nice restaurant that loves to have me and play. And several other of them have said, you know, we're boarded up. We don't know if we can even open again. We're not even having to go orders because we have to keep up with the electricity and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Stay open. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm just like, damn, this sucks. Like, that's what we heavily need. This is how our money starts to, you know, generate
Hmm.
and flow throughout, especially San Francisco.
Yeah.
So,
For sure. That's what's tough with San Francisco is
yeah.
it's literally one of the most wealthy cities in the world and
Hmm.
also one of the poorest cities in the world at the same
Oh
time.
my God. The, I'm out here and it's just like, it's like a dead zone. But at the same time, I'm just like, it's not the same anymore, you know?
Yeah.
I hope this is humbling, at least for the tech world and for the rest of us out here.
What are you doing to, stay active or to stay engaged? I mean, obviously,
Same.
stay sane. Yeah. Everyone, I think everyone needs to give themselves grace to handle it however they're going to handle it, right? Some people are,
Yeah.
it's funny. Everyone's like, everyone responds differently. Some people are super depressed. Some people are super like productive and like, here's what you should follow the schedule. And, you know what I mean? And who I really feel for, besides obviously the people that might be sick or might be losing their job and worried about money, is the parents who just got told last week
Yeah.
that their kids are staying home. Then
For the
summer's
rest
not,
of the school
so
year.
yeah, which is not only a major financial issue, right? If they don't
Yeah.
have childcare or whatever, but it's also just like most people have not seen their family this much ever,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know? And do you have any DJ friends or whatever that are parents as well? Have you talked to anyone about
Oh, for
how
sure.
they're
They're struggling. I can't imagine that. I'm like, that's why I have an IUD. I would not be ready to have a kid right now.
yeah,
Like, who would? And to have this type of pandemic go on, like, and especially when you have your own business,
yeah,
it's like there's and when in what we do, there's no security, job security.
right,
So it's like I'm not bagging on them at all. I'm not, but they're struggling and they want to know what kind of resources to like help and need. And
yeah.
so I think just filing for whatever you can should be
Well,
helpful.
I've been fortunate to kind of interview a diverse group of people, and some are parents, obviously, and we wish them the best. And the hard part is, in any other circumstance, right, whether it was 9/11 or an earthquake or whatever,
Yeah.
you weren't here during the earthquake, but when I was a kid in San
No.
Francisco, it was hit
Yeah.
really bad. And after that, though, once the earthquake was over, we all came together and could support each
Yeah.
other because we could come around and support each other.
Yeah.
Even though things were shut down for a couple of days, couple of weeks, everything got
Yeah.
back to normal pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, we can't even help each other. We can't watch each other's kids. We can't take care of each
We
other's
can't even like we have to do this.
right, right. So I mean, it's crazy. But what are some things? Obviously, this is difficult. It's probably realistically in California.
Yeah.
Probably going to last at least another month or two before things really
Yeah.
start to open back up.
Yep.
So what are your strategy to kind of get through that?
Right now I'm just figuring out ways to be able to hustle, and from what I see so far, this phenomena is insane. But going live to keep your relevancy is basically buying your loyalty to your audience and to continue, the path of what you're doing, because it's showing like you're resilient.
Right.
But in some ways it's like, I don't know how this is going to pan out. So
Yeah.
I'm making sure I like keep up with my audience. I'm like making sure I do
Every
mixes.
personal trainer is doing workouts. Every DJ
Yeah.
is doing sets.
Guys, watch me train. I'm a pretty good,
Yeah,
trainer. I'm
some of them
kidding.
are really good. Like obviously DJ D Nice. He's been
Mm.
killing it. Questlove has been killing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously some local Bay Area guys have been doing good.
Yeah.
I didn't really give you a heads up. Are you even capable of playing music at this moment?
I mean, I do, but when I go, I don't like going live.
Okay.
But I'll make a mix.
Okay.
I'm capable. I'm too shy. It's like I might get too wasted on there and someone screenshots and they're like, ha, got her, she's drunk. Like, I'm a little paranoid, that being said.
No, I mean,
so,
like now, like as we end, are you down to play some music?
not really.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because I'm gonna have dinner and have a fat hot dog, so I want to enjoy that.
You're gonna take your time and enjoy that. So
I'm gonna
okay, well,
enjoy.
speaking of the mix that you just did, you just did uploaded a mix, right? That people
Yes.
can check out. Where can they find that?
So, guys, if you want to check out my mix, click the link in my bio on Instagram. And yeah, it should be in there. And then just, work out to it. It's actually a high energetic mix. It's not
Okay.
so much quarantine. I just named it that. But, just jam out to it. Just, I don't know, in the car if you go out and, yeah, put your Beats by Dre on and listen to it.
What are, let's say, God willing, everything works out, and in the next couple months we're back to normal by 4th of July.
Yeah.
What are you hoping for, and what are some of your short-term and long-term goals moving forward after everything you've been through in your career?
Honestly, I'm not even hoping to get a gig right now. Like, I'm not even hoping that. What I'm hoping for is like, hopefully there are different jobs that'll open up to where like some people, a lot of people that have been unemployed can just take a job like that and just start working and help build the economy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, of course, I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna get a gig right now. I'm just gonna see and feel it out. I'm gonna find a hustle, make sure like something that I'm doing now is still relevant. And then I wanted to go back to school, honestly. I put up a pause on like taking my LSATs to go to law school.
Did you finish USUMB?
I finished with my bachelor's and
Yes.
now I want to kind of go into the biggest phase,
Wow.
which is, yeah, either my master's in psychology or take my LSATs on.
What area of law would you focus on?
I want to go into entertainment law.
Entertainment law. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I
Yeah,
want to
it's
take
a
all
huge
my
deal.
minions and make a lot of money from my minions. I'm kidding. Okay. Not really, but yeah.
No, no, yeah, that's awesome. I actually have a friend who went a similar path. He was a musical
Hmm.
artist, yoga teacher, went back to law school because he saw as an artist
Yeah.
how much the industry,
It needs it.
even though nowadays you can be an independent artist like you couldn't
Yeah.
before, there's still with like streaming companies and all this, like
Hmm.
artists are still obviously the major artists make major money, but
For sure.
most artists and most DJs at a certain level, it's a
Yeah.
real struggle and grind.
For
Uh,
sure.
and so, yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know you were thinking about doing that. That's really cool.
Yeah. I don't really want to tell people my next move, but hey, this is live. I'll just say
Well,
it.
it's idea. It's possible. You know,
Yeah.
who knows what'll happen.
Exactly.
It's
Who
good to have
knows?
goals. What
Mhm.
what were some of what are some of your favorite venues or shows you've ever played?
My favorite venue was in Hollywood at the Argyle.
Okay.
Like high energy venues that like you stand there and you're like, holy shit, this is gonna be a really hard room to fill.
Okay. And
And
what would you?
you know the vibe
Yeah.
already, so
What would you describe your style as?
I'm
Like,
very open format. So it's weird. When it comes in waves, I can become really hip hop. Not too Bay Area though. It's very it still pertains and then I'll go like so extreme where it's like garage house.
okay.
And it's that heavy grungy UK house,
How,
heavy bass beat.
I'm trying to think of the name of the group, but there's a special group
Mm-hmm.
from Australia that Hayden
Oh,
James is
yeah.
part of.
Oh, okay.
It's like a
Hidden
record label.
James. Okay.
Um, I'll see if I can think of it and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're like an electronic label based in Australia, and they're
Mm-hmm.
super dope. A lot of the art.
Hayden James is a really good DJ. There are so many DJs from Australia that are killing it. Like shout out to Dom Dollar. You know, Tiger Lily's great too. She's a big female
Yeah,
DJ too. So there's a lot of good DJs out there.
that's awesome. That's awesome. What do you think you want to stay in San Francisco long term? I know you don't like to give away your moves, but being someone who's kind of an
Um,
international, you've traveled a lot,
yeah.
lived all over different places. What are some of your favorite places around the world?
I mean, it would be great if I like could could move to Asia. Asia has such a big music, especially in dance music scene.
Yes.
And they
Full
like,
Moon Party in Phuket. Amazing.
uh-huh. Yeah. Go to Asia,
I
man.
wish I
It's on
was there
another
right now.
scale. Yeah. Asia's beautiful, but primarily just like if I could just go tour around the world, you know, I don't have to have a home base as long as I'm able to tour with what I do and
Yeah.
yeah, make a name.
So obviously there's you're your own unique artist, right? And you have your own unique path, but there's got to be maybe some artists that you look up to, or not so much the mega stars, but
Yeah.
is there some artists that you relate to, or that you're like, you know what, I'd like to be there in a year or two, or I like that the way their career is set up. Is there anybody that you kind of admire in that way?
Yeah, there's a couple called Arias, which is
Yes,
Tessa Liz. Yeah, she's really good. And
so
she's like,
good.
she's not only just a DJ and a producer, she's a hustler. So it's like,
They're
she doesn't have
badass.
just, yeah, she doesn't have just one hustle. She's working a lot. And I love Rez. Rez is really good. She's a really good artist. And Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland's
Did you
great
see she
too.
was
So
number one trending on Twitter the other day?
yeah.
I think there's been some cool underground. So I work with an event called Northern Nights up in
Oh, yeah.
Humboldt. Really,
Mm-hmm.
really cool. And
Northern Nights, yeah.
through there, I met a group called Brownies and Lemonade. They're like an underground
Brownies and
crew.
lemonade, I've
Yeah,
heard.
they're
Yeah,
like a crew down in LA.
yeah,
And they help put on that digital kind of music festival. And so
yeah.
like a lot of those harder kind of dubstep type guys were
Yes.
trending the other day.
Yeah.
I think it was, G Jones and Alice in Wonderland. And for me, that's not really my background. I'm more like hip hop and reggae and like whatever.
Yeah.
But that event really opened my eyes to a lot of dope artists that were.
You need to go out more.
Oh,
know?
no, I am now.
So much. It's
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
yeah.
That's what I love about travel. That's what I love about music. I noticed in Thailand, it was a lot of like UK, like deep house kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So I thought, man, what if we brought like Bay Area hip hop to Thailand? That'd be pretty cool.
They're actually doing, yeah, there's a group like the 219 boys and my friends. They incorporate Bay Area hip hop into G House. So,
And
yeah, you should
where
listen to
are
them.
they in California? Where are they at?
They're based out here in Fremont.
Oh, wow.
Fremont, San Francisco. Yeah. They're really good.
Well, how often do you ever get to go back to Australia?
I was supposed to go this year for a while too, but that's not looking promising. I was supposed to go back in November for a whole month, but I didn't because my residencies were I had so many bookings. I was like, I'm not going to turn this down. I want to make money. But I was supposed to go this year.
Do you have a manager now, or do you ever do everything on your own?
No, I had a manager. He's a scumbag, but I don't want to rely on anyone. Yeah, it's all
so
on me.
You handle, like, talk about, if you don't mind, talk about like what goes into running a DJ business, so to speak, or that you've developed. Like, what's a good, professional on a professional side?
Make sure to have all your equipment. Make sure you're adaptable, because other DJs, and I hate this, but this was one insecurity of mine. I wasn't, oh, she's a controller DJ. I was like, you know what, F you, I'm gonna figure out how to play on turntables, CDJs, everything I can, just to, blow a kiss to you guys, because it's like you guys want to doubt me, a woman, especially in the industry. So make sure you're adaptable to your marketing and promoting has to be down. It has to be tasteful, professional. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie. I'm like,
You keep
I'm
it
weird and funny, yeah.
Yeah.
So I like incorporate my personality into that, but make it professional and tasteful. And then 3, hustle. Like really get your name out there and have people make your mixes, go out there, go to events, open your mind up.
Yeah, that's all really good advice. I've worked with I've been on all sides of it, from the artist side to the venue side to the booking side, touring, all that. And
yeah,
I'll just say for me, it's about having integrity, right? Yeah. Showing up on time.
That's a big one.
To being able to deliver. Because let's be honest, I mean, DJs are a dime a dozen. They really are. But good ones are not.
No.
And skill, obviously you need to have skills. You need to have taste. All that can be developed. But I've seen a lot of people that are really good artists that have amazing music and talent with the turntables, whatever. But they're just a shit show. They can't show up on time. They get drunk. They run with the crew that's bad, right? So every once in a while you get an artist, like we at Northern Nights, we had Zoo.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit.
Zoo is amazing.
I have never been more impressed with a manager and an artist in my life. They were on
That's why he's
top
up
of
here. Zoo
shit.
is all the way up here.
And he's got the mask game strong. I think Marshmallow and Zoo were already ahead of the game against the virus.
Yeah.
So they're good.
Wear a mask when you DJ now, guys.
So if you were gonna wear a mask, what would your costume be?
You know what? I wanted to wear a paper bag. I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'll poke 2 holes here and wear a paper bag. Maybe people will come.
Yeah.
I actually thought about that. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. It's stupid. But, now it's looking like we need to protect ourselves from this invisible enemy.
So the first instrument that I grew up playing was in church, and it was drums. And usually in church, they try to control the drummer because they can get too loud. So I don't know if you've ever seen the drum cages.
No, I've never seen that.
It's like a plexiglass.
Oh,
around the drum set. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's so I used to have to play behind that. Now DJs are going to have to do the same thing.
Stay away from me. Song requests are through this hole.
Oh my God. It's funny. Like I said, I don't really consider myself a real DJ, but I have DJed some gigs, some parties and some weddings and stuff. And even for me, I understand now how frustrating and annoying it is when people come up and try to request.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, you know what? Like, they hired me to do this, if they wanted you to do this,
Yeah.
talk about when the
Oh, they're like,
other
you
DJ
know, we
shows up
wanted,
to your gig.
yeah, they're like, we wanted Bon Jovi. And it's like, oh, you wanted Bon Jovi, but we're playing hip hop here.
Yeah.
Go in your corner, go in your hole, go over
Yeah.
there. Or give me $100 for that. Don't
Yeah.
tell me how to play.
Yeah. If you're going to make me change the whole vibe, like that's going to cost you.
It's like, that's like a train wreck in itself. So,
So
yeah.
how as a female, obviously a lot of industries, especially when it comes to music, are male dominated, but a lot of ladies have made headway in the last, I'd say the last decade. One of my good friends and artists that I worked with back in the day, we used to I booked her in Seattle and we did some shows with her in LA, is DJ Ivy out of LA. And
I think I've heard of that. Yeah.
yeah, she is dope. And that,
Yeah.
for me, I was just gaining a respect for DJs in general, right?
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of local guys in Monterey. Some were really good. Some were just like, what is this guy doing? He's pressing play on a laptop. He's playing somebody else's song. Like, this isn't
No
even their song.
transitions or blends at
Like,
all.
why are we paying somebody to do this? We could just play
Yeah.
this off of iPod. You know, of course, that was like, at the time, I didn't understand it. And there are some people who literally make money off of that, right?
Yeah,
But then there's also some original artists who produce a track from scratch, or they'll take a remix, whatever. Anyway, DJ Ivy, her skills are legit, and we did some shows together. And from there, I just gained more of an appreciation in general for DJs, but especially for ladies.
We get harassed. We get like sexually harassed, not just like physically, like in front, but we get harassed like on social media. Sometimes people go from like per gig. So like if you've got a gig, someone could show up and then follow you at another gig. So it's like lightweight stalking.
How do you? No, that's not lightweight. That's real stalking.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I'm a bit mean. I'll be like, yeah, fuck you, fuck off. I'll say that. I have no problem saying that. But then I feel bad because I'm like, oh crap, like he or she could say something like to my general audience or go online and say this and give a review about me. So I have to be careful, but I have this threshold where I'm like, I will say that when it's needed. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I will say that. Doesn't matter.
How do you travel? Do you have like a team that you travel with, or if you have like a lot of gear, or you have a setup to where, like, what kind of vehicle do you use to transport all your gear?
I have my SUV.
In San Francisco. You have an SUV in San Francisco.
I have an SUV. It's amazing. I actually don't need to carry too much. Like when you're a good DJ, you will request for the equipment. Like I'm not bringing anything, and if you're gonna bring it, you're gonna pay double the amount. Right. So I make sure that is always set in my contract, and I want to make it as light as possible because this job is not easy as it is. It's performing isn't another thing too.
Yeah, it was a wake up call for me a few years ago. We had Moon Boots from New York at the gig up north, and he literally flew in. Had just done a show in Brooklyn, was about to go do a show in Ibiza, flew in with a thumb drive.
That's all.
And he was like, yeah, bro, he's like, if you want to come to Ibiza, let me know. And I was like, what? You literally just headlined this show with a thumb drive.
Yeah.
Like,
that's all I need.
Yeah, blew my mind of what's possible. And again, growing up old school, growing up as a musician, you kind of have like, okay, you have to have these instruments. You have to do a chorus and a verse, and then that's the song. And now there's literally, I mean, there's no rules. If it's dope, it's dope. It doesn't matter. Like artists like Thundercat, who leads from the bass, like that was a new thing. You know what I mean? There's just like so many artists out there that are kind of changing. Have you seen any like DJ live band combos that you think are cool?
I love Gorgon City. Gorgon City had a live. They were live DJing with a full on band. This was at the Fox Theater in Oakland. I was like, I want to get on stage right now. Right. And I was like, who do I know around here? But it was sick.
Do you see yourself doing that if you have the right?
Absolutely. 100%. I've been doing this for almost 5.5, going into 6 years. It's become like baby steps. Yeah. But I'm trying to figure out my sound and what I really want to do. And then on top of this, it's like, okay, the virus hit. I have all this time to kind of like, ta-da, magically make something work. So
yeah, definitely. Well, I'll send you some stuff that I have. I've seen some cool stuff. I'd love to get more of your stuff as well. But
wait,
As far as I love the crossover between DJs and bands, or
Yeah.
like there's now you know, artists that are even doing the whole set themselves, where they're
Yeah.
kind of half DJ, half musician,
Yeah.
looping. I mean, it's crazy what you can do these days.
Yes.
Before we go, let's see if there's anybody who has a question. Just hit the little question mark right there, and we can ask you.
Yeah, hit the question mark. I know we honestly have been watching this and I've been monitoring. I think
Yeah,
there's been like about 30 to 40 people logging in and out, you
yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah. That's how it
This
goes.
is cool. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I should do this more often. Psych. Not doing this.
Well, I appreciate you being willing to do it. I know it's a little bit out of your comfort zone, but you know, I remember the first time I saw you live, I was like, I knew that you had the talent, and I heard your business plan. A lot of people are short-sighted, right? They just want to party or they just want to be cool
Yeah.
on social media, but you actually like
Yeah.
had a plan and a strategy,
Yeah.
and you know, so kudos to you for following through. And obviously,
Thank you.
it's at a plateau right now because of what's going on, but
Yeah.
I think the people that have what it takes are going to grow from this, and this is a chance to kind of regroup and re-strategize. And I'm excited to see what you do next. But doesn't look like we
No.
have questions yet. But
Nope.
what do you want to leave everybody with? What are some of your ideas and goals and just hope that you might have? I know obviously you're being sarcastic about how much things suck right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you were in your highest self, what would you say you're excited about after we get through all this?
If you're resilient, like this isn't cliche or philosophical, but if you're resilient and you've gone not the artist route, but like if you've like just lost a lot, you've emotionally, financially, or spiritually, and you know you can come back from that,
Yeah.
and you know this is just a reset, take it as a reset.
Yeah.
Take it as a reset. And I don't like this word like, oh, you should plan now. It's like you can't really plan. I think what you should just do is shut the world off and figure out what you want to do. And if you're driven and motivated, do it.
Perfect.
Things will get better. So
Yep.
yeah.
I couldn't have said it better. I don't know if you've ever been at a gig where things shut off, the power shuts off, or your computer freezes. Has that ever happened to you?
Oh Lord, multiple
It's
times.
happened to me.
I
So
have
like you
shit
said,
myself.
that's the worst thing that could happen. It's happened. It's happened to me at a wedding. And like you said, you pivot, you re-strategize, you restart,
Yeah.
and you learn from that. You're a little bit better prepared next time. You're a little
Yeah.
bit more vigilant and
Yes.
careful. And I think hopefully everyone just appreciates everything that they have more, you know, whether it's opportunities, whether it's friendships, whether it's relationships. I think there's going to be a lot of babies born. There's going to be a lot of divorces.
I got an IUD. I'm not going to have any kids at the moment. Thank you.
hopefully there's some new businesses and new venues. Even unfortunately, the venues that do have to close, maybe there'll be some new ones that come out of this. So
Yeah.
anyway, thank you again so much for your time.
Hey, thanks guys for watching.
And
Thanks,
where
Jordan.
can everybody find you?
Find me on Instagram at DJ Kimmy _. You can find me on Twitter at DJ Kimmy. You can also find my TikTok at Kimmy the DJ. Now I'm getting the hang of it, but you know,
Yeah,
you'll see more of me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. We'll be in touch. All right.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care.